tough group. Like, rolling at A&M on paper, we're not the most talented team, but we just want to be tougher than they are. And, if you're the tougher team on the baseball field, you're really hard to beat.
There have been some moments this year where toughness has been challenged. Notably, week 2 of the year, you're down 10-0 to Ohio State. What was going through your guys' minds as you thought about that game? Like, easily could have rolled over, but you guys were tough, didn't?
Yeah, the vibes in the dugout were still high. We kept getting runners on every inning. It felt like I think we had a runner on just about every inning, at least at second or third. So there was no pressure there. We just kept, telling each other like just got to cash them in one at a time. And once it started rolling, it just didn't stop. And you look up and you got Doe, who no other better person than to hit that homer right there. Well deserving guy for that. Hardworking, really good dude. So happy it was him. And then you look up and he hits the pump and you're like, we did it. Like, but there was no doubt. Like, Coach Vaughn in the dugout was like, just keep pushing. Like, balls are going to fall. Just keep pushing. And that's kind of what we did.
Is that one of the most fun celebrations you've been a part of?
Yes, sir. I'd say that was pretty fun. So I mean, that was exciting. Hits the ball, and everybody loses their breath for a second. Then once you realize it's gone, it's just like fun, joy. In the locker room was fun. The belt, I guess, everybody's seen the video. You got people with their shirts off holding the belt up and stuff. So that was always fun.
Yeah, a great moment for this team. Was that kind of an early moment too that, you got off to the great start against Bradley the weekend before, but that weekend you're beating Coastal Carolina. They've won a World Series within the last 10 years. NC State was at the World Series last year, and then Ohio State, a solid Big Ten program. Does that kind of help it all click? Like, all right, all this hard work is now starting to pay off.
Yeah, I think that tournament helped us out a lot, especially going in early. You play. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bradley's a really good ball club, but like I said, Texas A&M and us more talented on paper. But like when you go to play other teams like that, who theoretically, NC State might be more talented than us on paper, and you go and you play teams like that in Coastal and Ohio State 3 days in a row, back to back to back, at a neutral site, not with great fans. You know what I mean? Like it's not your fan base, and you go and can go 3-0 and come out of it 3-0 and come back from a 10-0 deficit. I think that proves a lot and shows a lot how much our hard work shows.
Yeah, great start to the year again for Crimson Tide baseball. Now we want to take a look back at your journey to Alabama. First of all, tell us where you're from.
Yeah. So from Madison, Mississippi, for people that don't know, it's probably 15 minutes north of Jackson, Mississippi. Graduated from Germantown High School, and was originally committed to a JUCO in Mississippi, and then ended up at Southern Miss, and then was there for 2 years, and then decided to go the JUCO route for a year, and then ended up here. So can't be more thankful.
Yeah, now you're at Alabama. You just mentioned growing up just outside of Jackson, Mississippi. Did you go to a lot of Mississippi Braves games?
I did. Unfortunately, they're not there anymore. But yeah, I did. Growing up, I've been to a handful. So,
Any players you remember from that time? I was in the Southern League with Jackson for years.
Actually, when I was the last game I went to, Dansby Swanson was there. So that's the only one I remember. The big time player that made it. That's the only one I remember. So.
Did you grow up a Braves fan?
Yeah, I do like the Braves. I'm a Riley Austin guy, so he's a Mississippi boy. So I like I'm going to support the Mississippi boys. So I do like the Braves. I don't have like a certain team that I just cheer for every game, but like if the Braves are playing, I hope they win. They're not off to a good start, but hopefully they turn it around. So.
Yeah, we'll see. So for you, again, growing up in Mississippi, was it always baseball, some football, basketball mixed in as well?
Growing up, I did all three. And then my freshman year of high school, I played all three, and I was just like, I can't do it anymore. It was just like football season, straight into basketball, straight into baseball, like no practice, like just straight into it. So I just like, I need to pick one or two. And, I was like, maybe I'll play football and baseball. And then I was like, well, if I get hurt, I'd rather just get hurt in baseball. So I went to the baseball route, and it worked out, I guess you could say. So.
Yeah, and Mississippi high school baseball is pretty competitive, really. Every roster we see around the SEC, there are guys I'm sure you played against in high
Yes,
school.
sir. My senior year, Madison Central was loaded. They had Braden Montgomery, Hunter Hines, Southern Miss's center fielder Jake Cook was there, Creek Robertson, who's at Memphis, Ross Highfield, who's at Mississippi State. Like they Bo Bryans, who's here. Like they had some dudes. So and throughout the whole Mississippi, like you got guys everywhere. But that my senior year was unreal. Like they're loaded. DeSoto Central was loaded, who's in North Mississippi. Like Lewisburg had a couple Ole Miss commits and stuff like that. Like it just felt like every team you played that year was just loaded with talent. So
And for you, getting recruiting attention started around you, you mentioned kind of you were thinking JUCO first. Why was that?
Yeah, the JUCO route just was more of wasn't really talking to D1 schools. My junior year, COVID hit obviously. But my junior year, like, had a good start to the season, was pitching more than I was hitting, and COVID hits, and then we go into summer ball, and had a pretty decent summer on the mound. The bat was decent, and then was committed to Pearl River. I committed it early in the summer to Pearl River, and then like last minute, late in the summer, Southern Miss called, and I had a couple buddies already committed and going. I was like, oh, it's a no brainer. Like, I gotta go. So I ended up committing, but I ended up committing as a pitcher. Is the funny thing. So I went to Southern Miss as a PO, and then had live ABs and had a good first day of live ABs, and then I haven't touched the mound since. So I'm not going to complain. I do miss pitching a little bit, but I don't miss the arm pain, so not going to complain about it.
Describe your style as a pitcher.
Yeah, I really just throwing strikes, really. I hated walking people because I knew it. I knew my defense hated it, and I hated walking people. The hit by pitch was okay. Like, if I, fastball in and I accidentally, yanked one a little bit, it's fine. I'll let that slide. But the walks, I hated it. And if I got tallywhacked around the ballpark, I really hated it. So I really hated it.
So, good velo? I mean,
low yeah,
90s?
yeah, it was like 88, 90 in high
Okay.
school. I think touched a one like a couple times. So, the changeup was the go-to pitch. Decent curveball. So, I was an okay pitcher. Like, I was decent. So, um, I don't know what I'd be off the mound right now. If my arm would probably fall off after two pitches, but there's no telling what it'd be off the mound now. So,
Well, I'm sure that makes you just relish the opportunity more. Balls hit you in right field. Someone's rounding third. It's like, all right, I'm going to rear back. They don't know how strong this arm
yes,
is.
sir. Yes, sir. I think it's funny. We talk about it all the time. Sometimes, like, some of the outfielders just, not everybody, but like some of the outfielders will like lollygag and barely throw the ball, and you're like, all right, I'm going to deke you today, and then they hit one to you and you rear back and you throw it, and you're like, oh, where did that come from? So it's kind of, you can play that game. It's kind of funny to do it sometimes, but when you're playing like last night, you can't do that. They know. So but like when you're playing teams that they don't know you, it's kind of fun. You can do it sometimes and get away with it, and it might help you out and give you an extra outfield assist. You never know.
Well, you did that earlier this season. Didn't you act like you couldn't find the ball, and
Yes,
then you
sir.
knew it the entire time, didn't
Yes,
you?
sir. It was like that twilight hour that we talk about all the time. It's like pointed out, and luckily it was a perfect time to do it. And it was cloudy too, so he popped it up, and I saw it the whole time, and I was like, "This is the perfect time to do it." So I kind of just threw my hands up for a couple of seconds and was like, "I can't find it." And luckily he took the extra step to second, and then realized I had it the whole time and went to go back, and luckily I just lobbed it over there to Big Doe and got the out. So.
Pretty good feeling, right?
It was. It felt good that it finally worked, because I tried it earlier in the season. It didn't work at all. Not even close. I looked stupid out there in the outfield doing it. So just glad it worked. And I told everybody when we got back in the dugout, I was like, it might not work for the rest of the year, but it worked once. So we'll take it.
Well, it certainly will. So, for you, you start your career at Southern Miss, and that was really good ball clubs you joined. Super regionals both years you
Yes,
were
sir.
there?
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
that's pretty special to be on a team like that, but I know it had to be tough not being on the field as much as you were used to.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it sucks. But I think it bettered me. Being able to sit on the bench behind older guys that, two super regional teams that I got to just watch and, kind of learn the game a little bit more, I think helped a lot. It sucks like sitting on the bench for 2 years, and then my second year, you get a couple at bats here and there, like when we're getting beat by 15 or beating somebody by 15. It sucks, but it's part of it. I think in the long run, looking back, it kind of helped my career. Just as far as baseball IQ goes, and like knowing what to do in situations when the game comes to you, I think it helped a lot. And then go to JUCO, and the baseball IQ was there, and then I just needed reps, to get better. And once I started getting those reps, everything just kind of started clicking, and I just started rolling from there.
So that was the main motivation going to Pearl River, was to get those reps and just daily playing time?
Yes, sir. Just be an everyday starter. You know, if I could have stayed at Southern Miss, I probably would have. But for my career purposes, I thought it was just better. Us and the coaching staff just thought it was better to go play every day instead of maybe coming off the bench or starting one day and then not playing for a little bit and stuff like that. So just went to JUCO and played every day and got what I needed, and here I am. So.
Well, I mentioned your high school baseball was really competitive, and then I think people don't realize how in Mississippi, maybe people do realize now because of the Netflix show, how competitive like JUCO football is in Mississippi with Last Chance U showing East Mississippi. But I mean, the baseball ranks as well. There's so much talent that comes out of those schools.
Yeah, you just got a bunch of, hard nosed, tough kids that come out of it. Like a lot of it in Mississippi that I've seen the year I was there was like kids that got told they couldn't do it. Kids that got overlooked out of high school, like stuff like that. And I think people just kind of hold on to it and hold a grudge to it and, have something on their shoulders and it means a little bit more when they play. Um, so especially when you know guys too, and it's like some guys know other people and they're like, I'm better than that guy. They probably should offer me instead of him. Like stuff like that. Like I think it's just hard nosed, tough baseball. Like everybody on the field's tough. Like everybody's trying to go win a national championship. Like, and it's a gauntlet trying to come out of Mississippi because you got all your Mississippi teams that make it, and one team hosts a regional, and then you got to go through it, and then you get to go to Enid for the national championship. But like, it's a gauntlet. I remember last year, like, show up and it's like we're down Hines Community College, which is like right from, probably
Mhm.
15 minutes from my house. And you look up in the third and you're down 5-0, and we beat these guys by 10 runs in the regular season, both games. Like stuff like that. Like it's just like when it's that time to go, it's like people just go. Like they show up and it's a completely different team, which I know that's everywhere, but like it's just like they're more tougher. They want it more. Like it's not even the same team you play in the regular season. And that's what my head coach at JUCO was like. He was like, whatever happened in the regular season, just flush it, man. Like this team we're about to play is not the same team y'all beat by 10. Like it's not going to happen. And he was right. Like they came out and put 5 on us in 3 innings, and we're scratching. Then you look up in the sixth, and it was 5-5, and we're like, okay, like now we got to get going. And then we played LSU Eunice. We're beating them 5-3 and let them come back and beat us, and then they 10-run ruled us to end our season. Like it's just like stuff like if you don't show up and you're not ready to go, it's just like you're gonna get dragged up and down the field. So, but it's good competition. Like you like the toughness. There's a little bit of chirps going on there. You can get a little bit away with a little bit more there as far as trash talking goes. But it's fun. It's good. A lot of people too. So like you're always playing against a buddy you probably went to high school with or somebody you grew up, playing travel ball with or something like that. So it's good competition. It's always fun. So
And a huge part of it as well, getting that daily playing time, refining your craft is certainly a huge part of it, but also getting noticed by D1 schools, once again, is a huge part of it as well. And for you, it wasn't like necessarily the plan was, all right, Pearl River, right to Alabama. Can you kind of walk us through the whole recruiting journey? Because it turned out to have some twists and turns for you.
yeah, so got to Pearl River in the fall in August. Was kind of working on the swing, mechanics, stuff like that. Just trying to figure some stuff out. Had a decent fall. Talked to a couple schools, Eastern Kentucky, Jacksonville State, and Campbell, I believe were the 3 that I talked to. Um, Campbell was talking to me a lot. I go up there on a visit. Coach Hare and the coaching staff up there was awesome. And that place was pretty cool. So flew up there, went on a visit. It was actually me and another pitcher, and we got up there and we left, and they were like, hey man, like, the way we do it is like if you don't want to be here, then like we need to know. And they were like basically like you got 48 hours. They were like if you can't make a decision in 48 hours, then like you don't want to be here. And I was like, all right, makes sense. So I get home, parents drive down, have dinner, talk about it, and I'm like, I mean, sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Like I know it's far from the house, but maybe it's what I need to get away. Because I've been in Mississippi the whole time. I was like, maybe I just need to get away. So we talked about it and kind of came to the conclusion like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? So um, committed the whole year. Had a really good spring. And then June 20th or something like that rolls around, and then I wake up to a phone call that Coach Hare had left and was going to Ohio State. Um, and the biggest thing was like it's late in the summer. Like I was kind of freaking out because I was like, where am I going to go? Like most teams probably have their guys already. Like it's the end of June. So I call my JUCO coach and I'm like, yo, like what do you think? Like do I stay committed and go, or do I get out and try and find somewhere else? And um, he was like, I think you'll be all right finding another place, laughing and joking. And I'm like, all right, well. maybe he knows something I don't. So thought about it all day. Talked to the parents. Talked with high school coaches, JUCO coaches, friends, everybody. And came to the conclusion like, all right, I'll just get out of it and see what happens. Like, you never know. Get out of it, and I mean, I wasn't decommitted for 5 minutes, and Coach Mo called me. So I'm gonna guess the laughing and joking from the JUCO coach was because he had already called here and was like, "Hey, I got a guy that's available." Called Coach Mo, and like some coaches will give you like the fake enthusiastic, like joyful personality, but like Coach Mo, like when he calls you, it's like the same guy that's you're on the phone with for 30 minutes laughing and joking is the same guy when you show up on your visit. Like there's no different, like it's the same thing with the coaching staff. Like I think that was the biggest thing is like there's no like fakeness, like there's no like just fake talk, like chitter chatter just to get you to commit. Like when they tell you things, I think they mean it. Like they're joyful, like the personalities are incredible. Coach Mo, like he's amazing. Like you're gonna joke with him on the phone, you're gonna laugh, like stuff like that. So it was awesome. He called me, was like, "Hey man, like, we've seen you play, like we want you, like, can you come on a visit?" And then Coach Vaughn called and I was like, "Yeah." So like 3 days later, I'm on a visit here. Um, Coming in, the only guys I knew here were Doe and Bo. When I came on my visit, those were the guys I knew. Bo was coming in, and Doe was obviously here because we played travel ball together. And then, get on the visit. Me, mom, dad are here. The place. They're like, "Oh yeah, like we don't want you to commit here because of the place." And then the first place they take you is the indoor, and you're like, "Oh, this is sick." Like, but you go around campus, you meet everybody, and we get back in the car, and I mean, we made it probably an hour and a half down the road. I was like, there's no way I can say no to that. Like, there's no way. So we get home, and I call Coach Vaughn, and I'm like, I'm in, and he's like, perfect. And then show up in the fall, and it's been great ever since I got here. The guys are great, the coaching staff's great, and the biggest thing that I like about the coaching staff is like they're super chill and laid back, but like when we need to lock in and we need to get things done, like they can lock in and get things done with us. Like, and everybody knows that too. Like everybody, I think for the most part has the feel of like, all right, like today we can like get things done, but it can be in a more chill manner. And then like there's days when we show up and we're like, all right, like today we're going to lock in and get things done. So I think that's the biggest thing too. And like, a lot of coaches yell and stuff like that. And, a good yelling's good every once in a while, but like Coach Vaughn, I think the big thing for him and the difference is like, it's more of like a stern disappointment dad talk. Like when we mess up, like, I mean, he's lost it a couple times, don't get me wrong, but like when we mess up, it's more of like a stern disappointment. Like I expect better out of y'all. Which I think sometimes that can definitely help a lot more than like, you got some freshmen that might not can handle the yelling and the butt chewing and all that stuff. But I think sometimes that stern disappointment, like, hey man, like y'all got to lock in, like y'all got to do better. Like I think that's what's made us good too. Like it's more of like a player type deal, like where he's like he looks at a couple players, he's like I expect better, and then those 3 or 4 players are like, hey man, like we got to lock in, like got to get it clicking, like let's get it going, and then everybody buys in, and the next thing you know, it's like you got 40 guys that are bought into it, and it's rolling smooth as can be. So I think the journey's been great. I can't complain. The football games were unreal this fall, unreal. So that was my most exciting thing for sure. And just the fall with the guys, the scrimmages, football games, just hanging out with the guys, create memories and friendships that'll last forever, hopefully. So it was fun for sure.
Now, did you grow up a State or a Ole Miss fan?
So my mom was an Ole Miss fan and my dad was a Mississippi State fan, so I kind of did a little bit of both. It just kind of depended on who was playing and who they were playing and stuff like that. So I did a little bit of both, and then unfortunately, my uncle and grandfather are Tennessee fans, so it's very unfortunate. But I did get my uncle to say "Roll Tide" a couple weeks ago, so
That's pretty good.
we're taking steps. We're taking steps.
So that made it, I imagine, even easier to adopt Alabama. As like now you're a Bama guy for life when it comes to football, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, football games, like I said, were unreal. I mean, I knew it was crazy just from seeing it on TV and like stuff on TikTok and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram, but like in person in Bryant-Denny is unreal. Like, it's unbeatable. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Well, there are a lot of superstars when it comes to Alabama football throughout the years, and right now you're getting to play with a superstar here at the University of Alabama in Justin LeBron. You hit in front of him this year. You've been around him defensively as well. Just when you watch him play, how good is he?
Um, I've played and seen some good shortstops play, and Justin LeBron is way, way, way above them. Like, it's the way he goes about his business, the way that he goes about his business at the plate, the way he takes pride in defense, and like sometimes you watch the guy hit and you're like, I'm sure other teams are like, oh, he's probably not even that good. Like, you watch his BP and they're probably like, oh, like he's okay, he's probably overrated, and then he gets in the game and like he hits 2 pumps, and you're like, all right, like he's real deal. Like, I think the biggest thing that I realized is like he has that switch you can flip. Like, at practice, like he's serious, but like still playful, like playing around, having a good time. During BP, like he's a little bit serious, a little bit more serious, but nothing crazy. Like, still being him, like having fun, laid back with it. And then you get in the game, and it's just like it flips like that, and it's like, all right, like it's time to lock in, and he's locked in. Like, he's still talking and having fun, but like it's locked in. And then he comes up for his first AB and he hits a pump, and you're like, yeah, he's locked in. Like, I I'll never forget. We're at Ohio State, and before his first bomb, he comes in the dugout and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna start trying." That's what he said. I just started laughing, and I was like, "I don't even know what that means, dude." And next thing you know, he goes 108 backside off the brick wall out there where they're building the suites, and I'm like, "All right, like maybe you are trying now. I don't know." And then he does it again, and I'm like, "This is ridiculous. Like, it's unreal. Like, the defense is elite. The bat's elite. Like, I mean, he's a 1-1 pick for sure. There's no ifs and buts about it. Like, if he doesn't go 1-1 next year, whoever has the first pick in the draft is stupid. Like, that guy's, I mean, one of a kind. Like, actually. And I think the best part about it is he doesn't, like, off the field. Like, we don't even talk about baseball. Like, it's hanging out, video games, like shooting pool, like whatever it is. Like, baseball's like the last thing on his mind. Like, which is, I think, it's great. Like, you get some guys that are like that and like have a big head and like are super cocky. But that, like, he's not like that. Like, super good guy off the field. And I think the best part about it too is like, even with the fans, when everybody's like, Justin, can you sign my ball? Like, he'll stick around and take pictures and sign balls. Like, not everybody does that. So it's definitely special to play with a guy like that for sure.
Yeah, Coach Vaughn's talked about it, saying, sometimes he's seen when there's a star player that can breed some resentment sometimes from even your own teammates and stuff like that. But it sounds like you guys click really well. He stays pretty grounded the whole time.
Yeah, I definitely think having a guy like that on your team definitely boosts the people around you for sure. It just makes guys want to be better. They're like, oh, this guy's doing that. This guy's doing this. Like, I need to go do this. And I think you got one guy do it, then it turns into two, and then next thing you know, you got 9 guys doing it, and the offense is rolling like no other, and it's clicking on all cylinders. So, same thing with the pitching staff. So I think always having a superstar like that on the team is good, whether it's a pitcher, hitter, a pitcher and hitter, whatever it is. I think it always ups the, I guess, intensity and level of play for sure.
Are you amazed that teams pitch to him in pressure situations? I mean, he gets the walk-off against UNA. They easily could have put him on. The go-ahead home run at Auburn. First base is open there, too.
Yeah, I mean, it shocks me, and then I think some people in the back of their head just be like, he can't do it every time, but he does. So, like, at some point, you would think teams start walking him or just don't throw to him. But also, too, you got Cade Snell behind him who's batting 400. So, that's also it's a lose-lose situation. It's, do you throw to Justin LeBron and see if he can do it every time, or do you throw to Cade Snell, who's a hit machine? So I think you kind of just pick your poison there, but it does blow my mind that they actually keep throwing to him.
Yeah, this is a really talented team. And again, the pack offense is something Rob always wants to have you guys hitting well 1 through 9. And one guy you get to line up against defensively every single ball game, Richie Bonamolo Jr. You've hit leadoff, he's hit leadoff. Just what do you see out of him?
Yeah, obviously JUCO guy, but that, I mean, just hard working, man. Really competitive. I mean, ball gets hit and he won't see or get it. Sometimes he forgets to talk in the outfield, but that's okay. Yeah,
but you guys haven't had a big collision. I know
we haven't. Yeah, I told Rich the other day, I was like, dude, you got to start talking the outfield. But I know, I told him, I was like, I know what it is, man. Like, you're a competitor. Like, you see the ball get hit in the gap and you go get it. And I'm all for it. I was like, just yell something or scream or something right when you take off, and then nobody will go for the ball. But he's a super good guy. He's actually my roommate, so super good guy. Love having him around. Love him as a teammate. And just hardworking. Super talented. Super talented. Technically can play all three positions in the outfield. Plays a really good center field. Can run. Can hit. Hits for power. Recently started to get a little juice in the bat, so that's always good to see. But yeah, and a real humble guy. Like, super humble. He's kind of like a little kid in a adult's body is what it is. So we joke with him about that all the time. But he's super playful. Like, he doesn't take a lot serious unless we're playing a baseball game. Other than that, it's pretty laid back, chill, goofball type deal. So I think that's good to have on the team. It kind of loosens some people up. Especially like if you're having a bad day and you show up and Richie's like goofing off in the locker room, it's hard not to laugh at the guy. So I think having that on the team's great, and it's amazing.
So being his roommate, you knew before everybody about the blonde hair that he dyed.
I heard before I left the field on Monday that he was going to do it because Braun did it. Braun dyed his tips, and I heard that he was going to do it, and I was like, okay, I guess. I don't know, man. I was like, go for it. Well, he wasn't at the house for like 3 hours after he left the field, and I was like, maybe he did. And then I get a FaceTime call, and it's like, yo, look at my hair, man, and it's bleach blonde, and I'm like, I guess if that's if it floats your boat, man. I was like, go for it. Apparently, from what I'm hearing, they're going to dye it even more. They're going for a lighter color, so like a Odell Beckham Jr. or like a Snow White type deal is what they're going for. So we'll see how that turns out. But
is that going to spread throughout the whole team?
It's kind of starting to sound like it is. A lot of guys are like, "Oh, I'll do it before the SEC tournament," and that's kind of what I told everybody. I was like, "I'll do it before the SEC tournament." I was like, "We'll get back from Florida. I'll do it. I'll do it 100%. I'm going to shave my head though and do it because if I do it with long hair, it's going to take the whole summer to come out. Then I'm going to look like a goofball all summer."
That's pretty good. Well, he's made some good catches in center field. You in right field, you've been a defensive wizard. Robbed a home run against Tennessee. Is that one of the best feelings in sports, robbing a home run?
Yeah, either that or hitting a walk-off pump. I think both of them are pretty equivalent. Just something like that in a big moment. Zane's up there pitching his butt off. And guy makes a good swing, and it's I think it was 6-3, 6-4, whatever it was in the top of the sixth or fifth. And you go make a play to help out your pitcher like that, and then he goes and finishes the inning. Like little stuff like that, like not little, but like stuff like that. On the defensive side, definitely makes a huge impact. Because you never know. I don't catch the ball, then maybe he gets pulled, or maybe he doesn't get to finish that inning, or maybe his pitch count gets too high where he don't get to go an extra inning, stuff like that. So. I've always been preached like, defense wins championships. And I do believe that. Like, you look at our outfield, like, arguably might have the best outfield in the country, or one of them for sure. Not many balls get down. Snell's made some good plays. Rich has made some good plays. I've made some good plays. So, like, we've taken some runs off the board. And I think that's what Coach Vaughn's kind of preached since we got here. It's like, we want an outfielder. We want guys out there that'll take runs off the board. And help us win games by doing that. So I think we've done a good job doing that. Coming in, didn't really know what the situation was going to be. You got me and Rich in center playing on two different teams all fall, and Snell in left. But the right field Rangers are awesome. So I'm not going to complain about playing right because they're super awesome out there, and I love having them out there. So.
Yeah, do you like some of the interactions you get to have with them? They're not heckling you, but you guys have a good time throughout the ballgame.
Yeah, we have a good time. As the game goes on and, people get a few more drinks in them out there, it definitely gets more funnier and better as the game goes on. Sometimes it can be a little quiet to start the game, just a couple conversations here and there. But then, you get to the fourth, fifth, sixth inning, everybody's starting to feel good, and it's, hey Bryce, which I love it. I don't mind it. They like to ask the questions where they ask you two questions or a question and it's left hand for one answer, right hand for one answer. They love doing that, so I'm a fan of it. So.
Well, that's really good. So, again, this has been a fun season for the Crimson Tide. You're getting ready for Mississippi State coming up this weekend. For you, we've again seen you bat throughout in different spots in the batting order. Just what's your approach at the plate?
Yeah, obviously slumped a little bit. Nothing crazy. It happens in baseball. Just couldn't catch a break, and that's kind of what me and Coach Vaughn and Coach Pap talked about, they're like, man, just keep coming. Like, it's going to start falling at some point. Just keep coming. And kind of just, making sure the mindset was like in the same place, in the right place, just keep coming. And at the play, as far as the plate goes, just be on time for the fastball and, just anything else, just adjust to. I think as a whole offense, we've gotten a lot of off speed lately, which, arguably as it should be. But it's still be on time for fastball, just like Coach Pat, the hitters plan that he gives us in the meetings we have before the game, he does an awesome job with. So like I think we're super prepared coming in. Like, I think that helps a lot. And then, SEC was thankful to give us an iPad that shows the pitches and stuff like that, like what the pitcher's pitches look like. So you can kind of get like a quick, brief look at him. So I think that's always helpful, especially a guy coming out of the bullpen. So like just little stuff like that can help the hitter out, because it's already hard to hit in this game as it is. So I think stuff like that helps a lot.
That's really good to see. So Mississippi State this weekend, obviously we'll roll through the rest of the spring. Hopefully a long run going to SECs and all the way to Omaha would certainly be the goal. Just what do you feel like this group's capable
of? Yeah, I definitely, we talk about it all the time in the locker room, like we're going to go. Like you just got that feeling. Like it's just like you get in the locker room and it's like it's going to happen. Like you just got that feeling. And it's like I think it's been like that since about the end of the fall. Like when everybody's like really meshed and everything was clicking and we were like, we're going to be good, like really good. And then you get back in the spring and it's the same thing and we're like, yeah, we're going to be good. And then I think the biggest thing too for us was like preseason top 25. You don't get put in the top 25. But we were talking about in the locker room and we're like, well, good. Like let them doubt us, because when you look up in June and the Tides in Omaha, Nebraska, like that just kind of proves a point. Like, and I think that's the biggest thing too that I like about this team is like we have a bunch of guys that don't care about the rankings. Like whether we're 1, 8, 25, 23 or not in the top 25, like it doesn't matter. Like we just keep coming every day. So I think that's a good thing to have as a team. You don't get caught up in all that mess. I think getting caught up in the rankings can definitely hurt you down the long run. But hosting a regional, super regional in Tuscaloosa would be sick. So that's what we're shooting for. That's the goal for sure. And I think there's a really good chance that it happens.
That'd be really special. And then after that, in the summer, any summer ball for you? Just maybe focusing on the draft. What could be next for Bryce Fowler after this year?
Yeah, it kind of just depends on what the body feels like. Obviously, how long we go and stuff like that. If I need to go play summer ball, I'll probably go play summer ball. If not, then I'll just hang around and chill and enjoy the summer. Whether that's come back here or go to the draft, whatever that brings. That's kind of what I'm thinking. If we go all the way to the World Series, then summer ball, probably maybe for a couple weeks, nothing crazy. I'm sure the body will probably be hurting a little bit by then. So, but it just depends on what the season does and how far we go. So it's kind of how that'll be based off of it.
Well, I can't wait to see it. Should be a fun run with this baseball team coming up. Bryce, just thank you for all the time you've given us today on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Best of luck, and we look forward to seeing you again. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Alabama racing is back. Don't miss the opportunity to experience the NASCAR Cup Series at Talladega. Witness the return of racing on April 27th and be a part of NASCAR's biggest and baddest track. From the blistering speed on the track to the unparalleled fan access of the Talladega Garage experience, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Tickets are on sale now. Secure your seats today at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
From one great Crimson Tide student athlete to another, as we are also joined here at the Advantage Center by Natalia Pawlak, who started her career at Pitt. Now she has formed a home at the University of Alabama, competing at a high level for the Crimson Tide on bars. She details all the excitement that we saw from Alabama's win in regionals, plus what's ahead coming up close to home for her in Texas, coming up next week at the NCAA Championships. Roll Tide and welcome to the Advantage Center inside Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium with our podcast studio for Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR. I'm Roger Hoover. Now please be joined by Alabama junior Natalia Pawlak as we are talking Alabama gymnastics headed to the Elite Eight and the NCAA Championships. Natalia, Roll Tide. Can you just take us through what a ride it's been the last few weeks with Alabama gymnastics?
Oh my goodness. I still feel like I'm on a high from Sunday. That was incredible to see, our journey and the ups and downs all pay off. Was I don't know if I'll ever find anything like that again. That was amazing.
It really was special for the Crimson Tide. Again, a great weekend. You get to host. That's really important, getting to
Yes.
be at Coleman Coliseum. What was that crowd atmosphere like as you all clinched that spot in the championships?
It was amazing. I feel like the crowds kind of started getting warmed up by the time we got to floor, and we had amazing group of parents too, who we could hear the whole time, and just having everyone clap for everybody's floor routines and get hype after everybody finished. I think that really helped like propel us like to get ahead, and I think that played a big part in it.
Was it pretty nerve-wracking, those final scores coming in?
Oh yeah, it was. And I wasn't in the corral. I was videoing floors. I was by myself, and I was like, I have nobody's hand to hold. Like, oh my goodness, I'm over here by myself. So it was getting nerve-wracking.
That's pretty good. And then how quickly did you make your way to the floor, be able to
Oh,
celebrate it
ran
all up?
immediately. After Gabby saluted, I'm sprinting. I was like, I have to be in there with everybody.
That's really cool. And we've seen the locker room video as well. I mean,
Oh my goodness.
how much fun was that celebration? Then just interacting with the coaches, talking about, okay, we have more season left to go.
I think that was amazing. I mean, I feel like we've had a lot of locker rooms like after meets that haven't gone that way. So that was like obviously the biggest celebration we've had. And like, I just remember Ashley being like, the alternative could be we could be sitting in here sad that our season's over, and we get 2 more weeks of training, we get another meet. Like, let's just keep pushing and keep showing everybody what Alabama gymnastics is all about.
It's about championships. It's getting back to
Yep.
the NCAA championships like we saw a year ago. Now here you are in the same spot. And for you, it's got to be incredibly special getting to go back to your home state of Texas.
Yes.
I mean, what's next week going to be like for you and your family?
I think it's going to be so fun. I mean, my sister is going to come because she has OU to watch, and she has me. And then my mom hasn't been able to make it to a ton of meets because she also coaches gymnastics. So their season's like at the same time as ours. So my whole family will be there. I'm pretty sure a bunch of girls from my club gym will be there as well. They've already been posting on their story like, we can't wait to see Natalia in Fort Worth. So I'm so excited. It's going to be like my own mini home crowd over there.
It really is exciting. And just take us through the preparation, because you don't want to change much from what's gotten you to this point. But how do you get ready for a meet of this magnitude for next week?
I think it's really just like looking at little tweaks that could be better from this weekend. And then I think our approach to this weekend really helped us out. Like, we were just like, why not? Like, go big. Why not? Like, we only have things to gain. We have nothing to lose. Like, why not put it all out on the floor? And I think keeping that same approach while making like little small tweaks here and there, I think will set us up really well.
It's exciting to see. Again, a very full circle moment for you getting
Yes.
back to your, again, original home state of Texas. Let's go back all the way to the beginning to your gymnastics journey. Tell us where you're from and how you got into this sport.
So I'm from Melissa, Texas. I was actually born in Arizona, so my gymnastics journey started in Arizona. Like, one of my family friends, she's kind of like my grandma, owns a gym, and that's where my mom started coaching. So I grew up doing little classes, baby classes in Arizona. And then we moved to Texas, and I was at another gym in San Antonio for 9 years, where I, really grew up all the way from compulsory to level 10, and then moved to Dallas when I started high school. So finished out my career at Metroplex. And my mom was my coach for most of my life. And then for the last couple years of my gymnastics career, I got to train with my sister. She's 3 years younger than me. So that was fun too, because she started once I was level 10 for a few years, she started catching up. So then we were in the same group for a few years, and it was like family business over there.
That's really special. You mentioned your mom as a coach. What was her gymnastics story like? Again, originally from Poland.
Yes. So she was on the Polish national team for a while. She, went to all the international meets, traveled to camps, and then she was offered a scholarship to Northern Illinois Gymnastics, which is how she came over to the States. So she did college at NIU, where she met my dad, and then she was originally going to go back to Poland, but then met my dad and stayed here. And then she started coaching in about the year 2000, and she's been doing that ever since.
Your dad from the States?
No, my dad is
Okay.
also from Poland. He's
Oh,
actually
gotcha.
from the same city. They're both from the same city, but they didn't meet till they came to the U.S., so it's really funny.
That's really special. So again, with her having that background in gymnastics, there probably wasn't much doubt for you or your sister you'd wind up in the gym pretty early.
Yeah, I feel like I got a little more exposed to different sports. I did ballet and soccer and swimming, and I loved swimming. The other two I was not good at. But then once gymnastics started picking up, there was no time for anything else. So that was the favorite one, and I picked it. But my sister, on the other hand, she had no choice. I think she was only put in gymnastics. She was playing in the gym while I was practicing. She was still too young. Like, she was in the gym constantly. There was really no other option for her.
Yeah, and there's only so many car rides your parents
Oh,
can
yeah.
do at a time, so to take you to the same spot had
Yes.
to help.
Yes.
Well, that's really special. And again, with your Polish heritage, you get dual citizenship.
Yes.
How often have you gone back to Poland throughout the years?
So I actually competed for them for about 2 years. I started in 2017. I was on the junior national team. So I went over there and competed in like the little Olympic Hopes Cup. I did camps there. And then actually in 2018, I got to go to junior European championships, which is probably the most fun gymnastics experience of my life. Second to going to nationals, obviously, that one takes the cake. But that was amazing. Like, being on an international stage, I got to go to Scotland. I got to travel with the Polish team, and it was amazing. I haven't gone back since then, so that was about 7 years ago. But I actually am going back this summer to visit my grandparents. I haven't seen them in 7 years, so I'm so excited.
That's really special. What do you enjoy most on your visits, whether it's the food, the culture, just the sights you get to see? What do you enjoy most about Poland?
My grandparents live in, I think, one of the prettiest cities. They live in Krakow, which is beautiful. So I just love going there. The architecture is beautiful. The city itself is gorgeous. And I don't know, I always just feel such a strong pull, like when I'm there. Like, I feel like I'm home, even though that's not. And then all of my cousins and everybody lives over there, so I don't ever get to see them until I'm over there. So, like, I feel like I have my whole family there when I'm over there.
That's really special. So again, that's a home, but also Texas is a home
Yes.
for you. And I think people, when they look at SEC rosters, they see so many gymnasts from the Metroplex area,
Oh,
Dallas,
yeah.
Fort Worth. I mean, how competitive is it?
I feel like it's not as competitive as it used to be. I feel like back in the day when it was Metroplex and Woga and Texas Dreams, like, it was a big thing. And I feel like now it's a little less because there's been a lot of coaching shifts. Like, when Cecile and Laurent left Woga, that kind of shifted the way that it was all running over there. Texas Dreams has kind of changed a little bit, but it's still really fun. Like, I feel like the Texas gymnastics community is really close. Like, even me and Gabby Ladney, I've competed with her my entire life, even though she was from Houston. Like, we still were in the same age group all the time. So, like, it's funny because I like knew her, but I didn't get to know her until we got here. So it is such like a tight knit community of Texas gymnasts.
Well, as busy as you were, especially competing on the international stage as well, were you thinking college gymnastics the whole way, or is that something that entered into the equation a little later?
My goal the entire time was college gymnastics. The like international part kind of fell into my hands when people presented it like as a cool opportunity, and I was like, I mean, why not? If I'm able to, that's amazing. So college gymnastics was the dream the whole time. I wasn't really a big like, oh, I wanted to go to the Olympics girl because gymnastics was hard for me most of my life. So I was like, I really just want to get to college and compete in the NCAA. That's the ultimate dream.
And you've been able to do that. Now, you
Yes.
started your career at Pitt. What was that introduction like to collegiate gymnastics in a very good league, the EAGL?
It's a lot different here. Like, I just remember when I first got to Bama, like, getting gear and stuff, not that we didn't at Pitt, but just like the magnitude and also the support that the SEC gets is dramatically different from what I had at Pitt. And now that they've moved into a different conference, I'm sure that it's different, but it was so like eye-opening when I got here. I was like, oh my goodness, like, we are blessed and spoiled because this is not how every other program is.
Yeah, and so you make the decision to transfer to Alabama. Once you went into the portal, how quickly did Alabama reach out to you? Was Alabama school on your mind when you went in the portal?
Honestly, Alabama did not come into the equation until towards the end. Like, I had a couple other SEC schools, and originally Alabama didn't have a spot, and then by some miracle it kind of opened up, and I don't know why. I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to go there. Like, I don't know if I'm good enough to go there. And as soon as I stepped on campus for my visit, I was like, okay, like, I just felt like such a pull. Like, when everybody tells you, like, when you know, I hadn't experienced that until I stepped foot here. I was like, I just felt so, like, at peace in my heart. I was like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be.
What did you like about the facility first time you saw it?
Well, the campus stood out to me the most. I was like, this is gorgeous because I came from Pitt, which the city is the campus.
Mhm.
So it's completely different vibe. I was like, oh my gosh, I love all the green. I love all the beautiful buildings. And then I didn't really like the facility wasn't a big pull for me, but I loved the coaches and I loved the girls. And that was like the biggest thing. Like, I remember somebody telling me, like, on your hardest days, you're not going to care about what the gym or the locker room looks like. You're going to care about the people you're surrounded by. And I think that was the biggest factor of me coming here.
Who were some of the people you met on that recruiting visit? Some of your fellow gymnasts that really welcomed you?
My host was Louisa, and Ella was here, so I think that was a really good. I just remember sitting with Louisa at a baseball game and telling her my whole life story.
That's really good. Well, Lisa, somebody I worked with on SEC Network, we've interviewed her here before. To get to see her compete at the Olympics, how special was that for you?
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I think I woke up so early in the morning and watched her. I'm pretty sure I had tears in my eyes when she finished her floor routine. Like, that was incredible. I mean, she's such a hard worker and she's such an inspiration. And to see her get to represent Columbia was so special.
It really was. And then for you, your first year getting to compete with them, it turns out to be a tremendous year. SEC championships, back to the Elite Eight again. How special was the finish to last year? And I imagine it helps inspire you for this season.
Yes, that was incredible. I mean, I had never thought in my life I was going to get to go to NCAA Nationals, so being there was incredible. Obviously, maybe it didn't have the end that we wanted, but that was such a special team. I mean, every team is different, but that was such a special team with a amazing group of fifth years and seniors, and so for them to get to go back to nationals and be part of that and have that be like my first one was really cool.
Heartbreaking end for that group that have been through so much during their time here in Tuscaloosa. What was their message about how you all can move it forward in future years?
I think we kind of like collectively agreed that yes, maybe it wasn't the ending that we wanted, but we wouldn't have changed anything for the world. Like, the journey was worth it. The connection and the bond that we had was worth it. Like, we wouldn't have changed anything. So now it was kind of like, that year is done. Like, we can't change that. Like, just move forward to the next year, do whatever you can and go all in.
And for you, you become a junior on this team, so you're one of the older gymnasts that's been around, has some experience.
It's crazy.
Yeah. What was it like getting to welcome in these freshmen that have so much talent, but still everything's a little new for them their first year?
So this was actually really funny for me because I feel like I got 2 freshman years. Like, I had one at Pitt, and then I feel like last year was freshman year 2.0. So I just remember in the summer being like, for once, I don't have to be the new kid. I actually can be the one like teaching these freshmen and helping them out. So it was really cool. And then also in my head, I was like, well, this is going to be my sister really soon. So I was like, I want to help them the way that I hope somebody helps my sister when she gets there next year. And these freshmen, they figured it out really quick. As you can see, they're amazing. But it was so cool to be like kind of a big sister for them and, help them like find their footing here.
Does it even seem like they're freshmen at this point of the season anymore?
Not really anymore. It's crazy. They figured it out so quick.
That's really special. We've talked before about just the adversity this team has gone through in those early meets and SEC play especially. How did you all stay together throughout some of those tough times where you feel like the scores were starting to improve, just weren't getting the results you wanted?
I honestly think that our bond grew with each hardship that we faced. I feel like it was really hard coming in with a team that was so new that we lost a lot of people and that we were gaining a lot of people. Like, our bond was different than it was last year compared to when all of these girls had competed together for a few years. Like, this was completely new. So I think going through the hardship strengthened our bond. And I feel like that's why we started to get better towards the end. Like, we were so in sync. We were so connected. We knew we had each other's backs, like, no matter what. And I think that's when we started to see the shift. Once our bond got stronger, once we just got closer as a team, I think that's when it started to turn around.
Yeah, do you feel like there was one meet that was maybe a turning point?
I think Arkansas was a great one, but honestly, I think SEC's was. Like, that was really something special. Like, I mean, coming in as the 8 seed and beating out 3 teams, I mean, that was incredible, and that's what we set out to do. Like, we were like, it doesn't matter what we're ranked, it doesn't matter what seed we are, we know who we are, and we're just going to go do what we do.
And I'm sure that mentality helped you for the NCAAs.
Yes,
Yeah.
And we kept that during regionals too. Like, it doesn't matter what the ranking is. It doesn't matter what happened during regular season. All that matters is now, and that's today. So why not put it all on the floor?
That's really special. Again, some great moments, and especially for you this year, we've gotten to see you on bars. What do you like about competing on bars?
Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm flying when I'm on bars. That has always been like my home in gymnastics. I think that's been my favorite event my entire life. So I just love getting to I feel like I'm putting on a show because I know that's my thing. So I'm just like, oh, I want to go show off. And I don't know, I feel so at peace when I'm swinging. It literally feels like I'm flying.
What are some of your favorite skills there?
My dismount is probably my favorite one, my double layout. And then my connection that I actually learned this year, my Maloney overshoot, is probably one of my favorites too.
That's really good. Again, fans love all that. I think they love different areas. The floor exercise gets everybody going, but the bars, there's just so much technique there.
I know. Everybody's like, I don't know how you do that. Like, it looks so easy. I'm like, I don't know either. Like, I don't know any different, honestly.
Well, then what are some of the other events you've been training, and where could we see you maybe next year in the lineup for Alabama?
So I've been training beam and floor as well, and floor was never my strength growing up. Like, I was more of a bar and beam girl. I'm more slow twitch. I'm not super quick or powerful. So vault and floor were always kind of lower on the totem pole, but I actually do love competing beam, and I competed beam really well in club, so I'm really hoping that next year I'll be able to get in there somehow. Floor, if I can be like, you know, there if they need me, that's even okay with me too. Like that would be awesome.
That's really cool. So again, all that's coming up in the future. Hopefully a very strong finish to the season coming up in NCAA championships. And we've talked a little bit about it, but this team stayed together. How's the coaching staff help you all stay together throughout this year?
Oh, they've been amazing. I mean, we've had a lot of talks about our culture and what we need to do to strengthen our family, our bond, and they've been really supportive in that and know when we kind of need a push to like be together more, or be like, no, this isn't going to get us to the Elite Eight. This isn't going to get us to Final Four. Like, we need to switch it around. So they've been awesome because they've all been on championship teams. They've all seen it. So I think we all just trust that they know what's best for us, and we just, you know, trust that.
Does it help you relate to Ashley even more, the fact that she was in your shoes, again, just over 10 years ago, you know, being a national champion here in Alabama?
Yeah, it does. And funny story, before we walked out for regionals day 2, she had her national championship ring on. She goes, I never wear this thing, but I'm wearing it today because we're getting there. And we were like, okay. And I guess she's going to have to wear that every meet now.
That sounds good. And speaking of fashion a little bit, that was a great accessory right there. Favorite Leo Alabama's worn this year?
Why can't I remember what one? Oh, I think the one we wore actually at SEC's, the new one that was white on the bottom and the red on the top. I actually really love that one. I feel like we don't have a ton of red and white like in that ratio, and I think it was beautiful.
Now, we know some of the senior gymnasts get to help design those.
Yes.
Are you looking forward to that part of it?
Yes. I am not a great like artistic person, so I can tell you if it looks good or not. I won't be able to create it, but I am excited to like have some kind of say in it.
That's really special. So that'll be coming up in the future for you. You mentioned some time abroad coming up this summer. What's the rest of the summer going to look like for you?
Honestly, I'm going to be soaking up as much time with my sister as I have before. We have to move her in June 5th to OU already, so I won't have that much time with her. And then we're taking family vacation, and then besides going abroad, I'll be at Metroplex training most of the summer.
That sounds like a plan. Well, again, you mentioned your sister, Camilla, who is now signed with the University of Oklahoma. Has it been tough for you not to be at home some to watch her just rack up all these great awards, national championships, and things like that over the last few years?
Yes, that was probably the hardest thing, like my freshman year. I was like, I can't believe I'm not there to watch her, like not even just gymnastics, but like watch her get her driver's license, watch her get her first car. Like it was hard for me because I feel like I've been there through everything. But I was able to go to nationals when she won. So to see her win was incredible, and she's amazing, and she's such a hard worker, and she deserves everything that she's gotten, and I cannot wait to see what takes her in the future, and I'm going to be the biggest OU Gymnastics fan when I graduate.
Definitely understand. You're going to get to compete against her as well.
Yes.
I mean, that's got to be a special time for you and your family.
Yes, I was texting her throughout SECs, and I was like, next year we're going to get to take pictures together. Like, that's crazy. It still doesn't feel real to me. Like, I feel like she's still 9 years old. How's she old enough to be going to college already?
Well, she will be, again, for Oklahoma. What do you feel like she's capable of in her career?
Oh my goodness. I feel like there really is no limit to what she can achieve. She is so driven and so like such a workhorse that I think whatever she puts her mind to, she'll be able to achieve. She can be an all-arounder. She can be a staple for that OU team, and I'm just excited to see what this next chapter holds for her.
That will be really special. And for you, that's going to be senior year. I mean,
I
you
know.
mentioned you feel like you had a couple of freshman years, now you're junior, and then all of a sudden next year you're going to be a senior.
I know. It feels like it went by in the blink of an eye. Like, I always didn't understand when my parents were like, well, 4 years goes by really fast. I was like, no way. Like, that's going to take forever. No, it goes by so fast.
It really does. And for you, what's been the focus in the classroom? What could life look like maybe after gymnastics for you?
So I'm a criminology and criminal justice major. I plan on going to law school after. I'm actually taking my LSAT this week on Friday.
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm going to need it. So hopefully my career path will take me to being a lawyer, and I actually hope to be a corporate lawyer for maybe some kind of company based in Dallas and stay there. So that's my plan for the future if it all works out.
That's outstanding. That's a great goal. Would you want to stay connected to gymnastics at all? Like if you're in law school, like as a grad assistant or anything, or once that final routine's done, is that it for you?
I honestly haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm trying to figure out if I would be able to balance law school with like being a student assistant or something. I'm like, maybe it would be better to just try to focus on school like while I have that opportunity, but who knows?
Well, you've said that Alabama really felt like home. Just have you enjoyed the experience getting to interact with student athletes from other sports and just being on this campus, especially like a football game day? How much fun has that been?
Oh my gosh, so fun. And like at Pitt, the football stadium wasn't on campus, so we had to like take shuttles over there. So I remember my first game day here, I was like, we just get to walk to the stadium. It's right here, like it's on campus. But no, I mean, being like sometimes it still doesn't feel real to me. Like still sometimes I'll walk into football games and be like, I can't believe I'm at the University of Alabama. Like I never in my life thought this is where I was going to end up. Like it's been amazing. The girls here are amazing. The support staff has been amazing. All the other athletes, like it's just a feeling like no other.
Well, we've certainly enjoyed getting to watch you compete for the Crimson Tide. There's more coming up not only this year, but next year as well.
Yes.
Natalia, just thank you so much for the time you've given us here on the Crimson Tide
Thank
Sports
you so
Network.
much for
Best of
having
luck
me.
on the LSAT
Thank you.
and then NCAA Championships.
Yes, thank
Roll
you.
Tide.
Roll Tide.
Iron made this place. But in order to take it all home, you need nerves of steel. The big one is back. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
On Monday night's edition of Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance, we are at Baumhower's Victory Grill. The show started with a football conversation with LT Overton, Alabama defensive lineman, Bray Hubbard, defensive back. Make sure you check out those interviews on our Hey Coach replay. But we wanted on this show to give you some thoughts from Jeff Allen, who is now in his 19th year on staff leading the sports medicine squad here for University of Alabama Athletics, and is specifically for Jeff working with Crimson Tide football. He shares perspective on working with Coach Saban plus Coach DeBoer, plus what he has seen from a more relaxed atmosphere around the football practice this spring. Here are some great comments from Jeff Allen, getting you ready for A-Day this Saturday.
As we hear about Crimson Tide practice, and you mentioned the energy has been there, people getting more comfortable, and really a good family atmosphere, it seems like, as well.
No, that's a good way to put it, Roger. I think that is very true. This is a very tight-knit team. I can sense that in them, and a very connected team that they have fun doing what they do, and that's not always the case. And even though, that's obviously the goal, but it's not always the case, and that comes from them. And they have that trait about them. And I think also the reason they have that trait is because Coach DeBoer coaches it into them, if you will. He is really – there's so many things, like I said, that I've just been so impressed with and so that admire about him. But the way he is intentional about – connecting them and making sure that they're doing things off the field together and that they feel that bond with each other, that is really unique. And it's so genuine from him, and they know it, and they're going that way with it. So, but I just love that, to watch those guys. I mean, because look, right now they're all competing against each other for starting jobs, but you wouldn't know that. I mean, they're going to go out there in the field and compete against each other every day, but they are tight off the field, and they're pulling for each other. Even you think about the quarterback position where a lot of competition, but those guys are pulling for each other and having fun, and that without a doubt is because of Coach DeBoer.
And for the coaching staff, there's only so much time they're allowed by NCAA rules to be around these players, coach these players, but for you, kind of unlimited time, you and your staff being around these guys, making sure they're healthy, and for Coach Ballou as well, he leading the strength and conditioning efforts. Just how important is it working together with him? What do you see from him every day? Well,
Coach Ballou is, without a doubt, the best strength coach in the country. We were so fortunate that we were able to get him to come here in 2020 when Scott Cochran left us. And, everybody was really worried. Scott was great. I worked with Scott for 16 years, whatever it was, and love him to this day. And I was really concerned when he left us, okay, what's going to happen here? And we were able to connect with Coach Ballou. Loved what he did philosophically as a strength coach, and how he trains the guys. I mean, he has a specific individualized plan for every single player, which is unique in that business. And, you get a lot of guys in that job that end up being more hype guys and motivational guys than they are a strength coach. Dave Ballou is a strength and conditioning coach, and he knows how to get people stronger. The proof's in the pudding with a strength staff. The way you judge a strength staff, it's real simple. It's really your injuries, your injury rate. I tell people all the time, it's obviously I have a role in injury prevention, but injury prevention happens in the weight room, and he is focused on that every single day, and our injury rate shows it, okay? I can show you data looking at, because in the SEC, we have to submit availability reports every week. The Big Ten has to do the same. So you can track We do. We track the availability report for every team in the SEC and the Big Ten, because from that we can get an injury rate for every program. Alabama has the lowest injury rate between the Big Ten and the SEC. That is the marker for Dave Ballou, okay? Because that's where that happens. It happens between a really good strength coach and a football coach and staff that know how to coach their players without getting them injured.
And as Bray mentioned, I mean, recovery is so important, getting fluids back in his body. Just nutrition works hand in hand with all that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing we've always taken a lot of pride in Alabama is all those groups being really, really connected and having great relationships. You're going to go, you see programs, and I tell recruits this, you better be careful, because you're going to go on some of these visits where you're going to have the weight room over here, the medical staff here. They don't get along. They don't trust each other. They don't communicate. That's a problem, and it's hard to pick up on if you don't really know what you're looking for. But we don't have that at Alabama. We never have, because, you know, it's really at the end of the day, it's about all of us being on the same page, doing the right thing for those players and giving them a chance to develop.
Well, A-Day is coming up on Saturday. For fans that are thinking about coming down to Tuscaloosa, going to Saban Field or Bryant-Denny Stadium, what would you tell them about why it's important for them to see this football team in person one last time in the spring before we get to everything that's coming up this fall?
You know, I think you've heard a lot of people talking about the changes, if you will, you know, to spring football at a lot of places in terms of how they're managing their spring game, and including us with A-Day. But, you know, it may look different, but I think just me, you know, I think it's going to be something really interesting for the fans to see. Look, when you go in the past, you go to A-Day and it's a game. Well, everybody's seen games all the time, right? And I know people enjoy watching players play, but what you're going to get a chance to see Saturday is something that you don't get a chance to see at all, and that's how do we practice? What do we go through? Because it's going to be a real practice. We've had open practices before, but I don't know if we've ever had one like this, where it's going to be a get-after-it kind of practice, and you're going to see some competition and probably see some things that you wouldn't see in the game. Sometimes the A-Day games are you know, here or at other places, their spring games are very scripted, very, this is what we're doing. You know, this is going to be, I mean, they'll be doing one-on-one drills. They'll be doing 7-on-7. You get a chance to watch the quarterbacks. I think, as from a fan's perspective, they'll see more out of this than they would in a game.
Well, that's really good. So, again, all that's coming up on Saturday with the A-Day festivities. You and your staff stay busy no matter what's going on. Spring football, even into the summer. And then once we get to fall camp, Jeff, you do an amazing job leading a great staff, helping out our student athletes at Alabama. And we just thank you for the time you've given us tonight and all you continue to do for Alabama athletics. Roll Tide.
Well, thank you. It is an absolute blessing for me to be here. It's an honor for me to be here. I tell people that nobody in our building that wears that script A on their chest takes it for granted. Okay, we know the responsibility. I heard Bray talk about it. We know the responsibility that we have to this state and to the people that love this program. And I promise you, I think there's a narrative out there now in college, you know, college football. Oh, the kids don't care about the program anymore, or it's not important to them. I would push back on that, because I see it every day. These guys care. It matters to them. They want to win. For Alabama, and it means something to them. So when you hear that and you hear all the craziness that's going on in college sports, trust me, as somebody that sees it on the inside, these guys care, okay? It's important to them, and they want to do good for you. I promise you they do. And so does everybody else in the building. We know the responsibility that we have, and we're going to go do everything we can to fulfill it. So Roll Tide.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Xavier Brown, and this is Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
There is nothing like Sweet Home Talladega. Don't miss out on NASCAR's return to Talladega Superspeedway on April 27th for the Jack Links 500. This is more than racing. This is Talladega. Purchase your tickets today at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Let's take a look at what's coming up around the Crimson Tide Sports Network, as this is going to be not just a very busy weekend, but especially a busy weekend here in Tuscaloosa. Coming up on Friday, a new episode of Tide TV This Week. We'll recap the previous week's action, plus get you set for what's coming up this week. And on Friday night, baseball will take center stage. 6 p.m. will be the start time against Mississippi State. Radio airtime coming up at 5:45 across the network. Then on Saturday, everything is happening with A-Day. Don't forget the captain's ceremony at Denny Chimes earlier that morning. And then from Bryant-Denny Stadium, the gates will open at 11. Our radio airtime will be 11:30 for the only Golden Flake A-Day broadcast you will find.
qualified. Again, Tyler Watson and I will be in the radio booth. Chris Stewart will be roaming the sidelines, getting a lot of interviews and content as well, not just for the radio, but for the fans watching on the video boards as well inside the stadium. So we look forward to all of that starting at 11:30 coming up on Saturday. Then after that, baseball hosting Mississippi State game 2 of the series at 2 o'clock. Softball will be starting its series against Oklahoma at 3. Both baseball and softball in action coming up as well on Sunday. The baseball game at 1 o'clock, softball at 5 o'clock on that Sunday. And then on Monday night, we will not have an edition of Hey Coach, but we will have softball get full attention starting at 6 p.m. to wrap up its series against Oklahoma. Should be a really fun time all across campus this week. Make sure you follow us at UA_CTSN for the very latest. We'll have a lot of booth cam clips presented by MLB The Show, plus some behind-the-scenes action from A-Day as well. Just follow us at UA_CTSN. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel on YouTube for the very latest on Alabama athletics. It's going to wrap up this busy Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. We have to say a huge thank you, first of all, to the guests that we've had in this room, Bryce Fowler and Natalia Pawlak. Thanks as well to Lexi Graber from the Advantage Center, setting up these interviews with our student athletes. Thanks as well to Ethan Carabin. He produces all these interviews you see. He puts this entire show together. We thank Ethan for his hard work, making Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, a success, and we thank all of you for watching. For everybody at the Crimson Tide Sports Network, I'm Roger Hoover saying thanks again for watching this very busy Thursday episode of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, and we look forward to seeing you this week, whether at Bryant-Denny Stadium, Sewell Thomas Stadium, the Road Stadium. It's all happening here on campus, and we look forward to talking about it next week on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Until then, have a great weekend. So long, and roll Tide.